Let's talk a little bit about the Pilgrims today, shall we? So, of all of the groups of settlers who came from England to create a new colony in America, probably the most famous of all of them were the Pilgrims. Um, I think more people would be able to tell you about the Pilgrims or something about the Pilgrims than any of the other colonists that came here. You know, the Mayflower, the first Thanksgiving, and all of that. We talked last time about the first group of English settlers to permanently start a colony in America, and that was the Jamestown colonists. And they were pretty famous too with the whole Pocahontas stuff. But I think more time is spent thinking about the Pilgrims when we talk about the colonies, especially around Thanksgiving, because of the first Thanksgiving celebration, and we always picture the Pilgrims in their funny clothes and their big hats with the belt buckle on them and all of that stuff, tracing your hand in grade school, making your turkeys for Thanksgiving and all that stuff. So a lot of mythology around the Pilgrims and things like that too. But we touched on them just a little bit last a few days ago when we talked about King Henry VIII and how he designed a brand new church and made it the law that you had to follow the rules of his church, the Church of England. And in doing so, he made a lot of people unhappy, and some of them became known as separatists because they wanted to be separate from the Church of England. And to do so, to be separate from the Church of England and still live in England, was not really possible because if you were caught doing that, you were in big trouble. You could be thrown in jail, or you might even be separated from your head and executed. So, you know how King Henry VIII loved that. He loved nothing more than to lop people's heads off and stick them on a stake and display them on London Bridge. So that was a problem if you were a separatist, obviously. So one group of separatists decided they were going to come to America and take a chance and set up a new colony. And that's what they did. They came over on the Mayflower in 1620, and along the way they got blown way far north of their course that they wanted to go. They wanted to go to New York, where New York State is today, but they ended up north in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. And it was too late in the winter for them to really successfully try to correct their error and go south, so they just tried to make it there, and they eventually did with the help of some Indians. A couple of Indians they ran into there were really, really amazingly helpful, and it was just a stroke of luck for them to run into Squanto and Samoset, because Squanto had been in England before, and he knew how to speak English. A few years before, some English explorers looking up the coast of America saw Squanto on the shoreline and captured him, took him to England for a while, where he learned to speak English, and then they brought him back. So the Pilgrims got blown off course and strayed their way up into Massachusetts, where they happened to stumble upon an Indian who came up and started talking to them in English. What an amazing coincidence that was. What are the chances, huh? But that's what happened. And then he and Samoset and some of the other Powhatan Indians that lived there around their settlement in Plymouth helped them a lot. They helped them with some farming techniques that helped them grow some food and survive that first winter, which was awful. More than half of the Pilgrims died in what was called the starving times. But that next year they kind of got on their feet with the help of the Indians, and that's why they had the big harvest celebration, celebrating the fact that they had survived for a year, and involved the Indians in that celebration as well. So that is the first Thanksgiving. So we're going to watch a few short video clips today about the Pilgrims, and you should have already be taking notes on your note sheet in Notability of what I'm telling you, and you're going to add to those notes in each of the boxes. There's a box for each video clip. You're going to add some notes and facts about what you learned from those video clips. And then at the end of the class today, there will be an exit quiz about the who, what, when, where, why, and how of the Pilgrims coming to America. You can use your notes sheets from these videos to answer the questions on that quiz. So while these notes that you're taking are not worth any points on their own, they will be worth points in that you should be able to get some answers from the quiz by being able to use the notes. So make sure you fill those notes out carefully and fully, and at the end of all of the last video, you will be able to use them for your exit quiz. So let's go ahead and take a look at some more videos, shall we? I think we shall.